Right. Hey everyone, I'm Klloo. So, I've been away for 2 weeks at this point. Yeah, 2 weeks. So, I've missed the majority of the Hunted spoilers. So, we have some catching up to do. I think we'll start with the Legendaries and the Fable. Yeah, we'll start with the high rarity, right? And then we'll probably do it by section, right? So, Assassin, Ninja, Warrior, and then Generics and Expansion. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Okay, so for the Legendaries, we'll start with the reprint, right? So, Command and Conquer will feature in the Hunted as a alternative art legendary card, right? So you got Command and Conquer as regular, and then Command and Conquer as rainbow extended art, right? And it is really nice piece of artwork too. I really dig it. I think I like it. I definitely like it more than the original Command and Conquer. Do I like it more than Dynasties? Kinda, yeah. I think it is pretty glorious. So while it is nice to see Command & Conquer being reprinted, I'm just curious if it being as a legendary is going to have much impact, right, on well, the history pack variant, since that's the lowest run, right? Because, you know, Command & Conquer is a staple, yeah? I think we can all accept that, right? Not everyone may use it, but it is a card that you probably want to have access to, right? And especially 3 of. And the main reason for that is the duality of its effect, right? So we do have lots of supplemental Arsenal Disruption cards being printed by LSS, but they don't quite do the job in the way Command & Conquer does because it has that first line. Defense reactions can't be played this chain link, right? So if you're playing it against your opponent who has a full Arsenal, chances are this is going to do its job. If it lands, it will destroy a card, right? Whereas a lot of the other cards give your opponent the opportunity to utilize their card, right? I think Brute comes closest, but then they target attack actions rather than defense reactions. So, you know, they weren't really going to use it anyway in that sense. So Command & Conquer is just superior, right? So much so that you don't really want the alternatives. You want the alternatives plus Command & Conquer. So it is, again, nice to see it being reprinted, but I kind of would have liked to see it being printed as just an expansion slot Majestic, right? You could still have done the Rainbow Foil extended art as a bit more of a chase, right? Maybe equivalent to a legendary, maybe a bit rarer. But yeah, I will definitely be interested to see if this has much impact, right, on just Command & Conquer across the board, on, you know, creating that negative pressure for the lesser variants and making it a bit more accessible for players. But I can't see it being much, unfortunately, right? Because you got to remember, compared to other legendaries, you still want 3 of Command & Conquer. So unless they've taken that into account, and this is a more common legendary, which I doubt it, it's just not gonna do its job, because for every 1 piece of equipment, again, you want 3 versions of Command & Conquer. So yeah, but still, again, nice to see a reprint. All right, hopefully we get some other staples across the board. I think Majestics, they should be a bit more lax on reprinting, right? We understand the rationale for Tunic and, you know, the much needed equipment pieces, but it's a Majestic. Yes, it's just grown in value because, again, it does such a superb job at what it's tooled to do, but I don't think it should be untouchable. So yeah, a bit disappointed that it's not a Majestic variant. All right, next up, we have a beautiful card that contends with Tunic. So, Blood Splattered Vest. Whenever a dagger you control hits, you may gain a resource and put a stain counter on this. Then, if there are 3 or more stain counters on it, destroy it. Blade Break 1, and it's for Assassin/Ninja. I gotta say, out of all the alternatives to Tunic, I think this one has been crafted the closest, right? I think this is a serious contender against Tunic, because mentally, right? You go Tunic, 3 resource value, right, would take you 9 turns, and you'd have to be using it consecutively, so every 3 turns you're popping it, so that you can start to rebuild the counters. So, yeah, you know, it fits that niche where it's a lot more flexible than Tunic, but it's not going to last you as long, whereas a lot of the alternatives that we sort of get pushed is we have Tunic as the value longevity card, right, and then each class has been getting, you know, sort of a pump card, a one-off really strong effect, but you're still more primed to take Tunic or some sort of resource generation if your class does have that card. So it's very nice to see Assassin and Ninja having Blood Splattered Vest, and yeah, I think just the flexibility of it is fantastic, right? Because again, 9 turns to get the same value out of Tunic, but you can't play it consecutively, whereas Blood Splattered Vest, if you need 2 extra resources on 2 consecutive turns, then you're golden, right? Of course, it does have that condition. You have to land your dagger hit, but the whole thing about the Hunted seems to be dagger hits and throwing your knives. So yeah, I really, really like its design, and it makes me sort of wonder, right, if some of those pump effects had multiple uses, right? So I know Savage Sash is the one that really comes to mind, and I go, how many charges would probably be broken for that? 3, definitely. Right? I think 2 uses would be really nice. You'd have one for early game, or, you know, if you're in a bit of a downward position to regain tempo, and then one for the late game as sort of your finisher. I think it'd be really nice with 2 charges, but it might be still a little bit overpowered. So yeah, really, really satisfied with the design, both art-wise and functionally, right, of Blood Splattered Vest. Then we have Dragon Scalar Flight Path. Now, we'll do this one along with the other leg slot, which is quick dodge flexes, because I think for inset, they're fantastic, right? I can see both Cindra and Fang, and, well, yeah, all Draconics, Fae and Dromai, taking both of these, right? One being a sideboard, depending on the matchup, because quick dodge flexes is just such a superb defensive effect that I really like, right? And then Dragon Scale Flight Path is just insane. So we'll start with Dragon Scale Flight Path, but we will, talk about them for comparison's sake. So we have instant pay 3, destroy this target Draconic attack, gets go again. If it's a weapon or ally, right, so it works with dragons, you may attack with it an additional time this turn. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each Draconic chain link you control, battle worn with only 1 defense, but that's fine, right, because the effect is what you really want. So yeah, an extra weapon swing or an extra dragon swing that you can, most likely get for free because you'll have enough chains is just really, really nice, right? Really, really good tempo push card. And then again, we have the defensive alternative in quick dodge flexes, which Guardian is definitely going to love, right? So defensive reaction, pay 1, add this to the active chain link as a defending card. It has 2 base defense, this chain link. At the beginning of your end phase, right? So not when the chain closes, but the end phase of that turn. If this has defended, then destroy it, right? So yeah, a reusable onboard defense reaction that will basically, as long as you have the resources, cover blocking for a turn. Now, I haven't looked at any of the quick start ruling, right? But I would assume that the way this card works, and do correct me if I'm wrong, right, is you can use it once per chain link, right? So you put it onto the active chain link, that chain link then goes to the next chain link, and you can reuse quick dodge flexes. I don't see it as just a resource spam, defend as much as you want on any given chain link, right? Although, if it is, I'm not complaining. So yeah, really, really good defensive leg slot, which is sorely needed because not every class wants the main purpose of legs, which is an extra swing, an extra attack, or some version of action point generation. Sometimes you just need a really nice defensive card. So yeah, again, for Cindra and Fang, you definitely want one of each, right? And again, depending on the matchup, if you need a bit more defense, you take the defensive legs. If you can go with the aggression, then you take your Dragon Scalar's Flight Path, right? Okay, on to the Warrior Headpiece. Ooh, they really hit out of the park, right, with the Legendaries. So obviously Command and Conquer, staple, right? So everyone's going to be happy getting that. And then so far, really, really good Legendaries. So we have Kabuto of Imperial Authority. When this defends, until the end of turn, opponents can't attack with weapons, right? So Blade Break 2, defense, right? So decent helm already. But then we have that shutdown mechanic of denying weapon attacks for the rest of turn. So in the mirror match as Fang, beautiful. Mirror match as Warrior, beautiful, right? And then, of course, for X hero that does rely on weapon, who doesn't rely on weapon, right? So Wizard, obviously not. Ranger, it's your arrows, so they don't count. Is that it? Is it just Wizard and Ranger? Right? Because Illusionist, weapons now, and then everyone else usually has an actual weapon. Bard, I guess, but obviously not. So yeah, it is just a really nice headpiece for Warrior, right? That definitely shores up some of their weaknesses. And yeah, shutting down an Illusionist turn to then go into a nice swing turn. Oh, it's gonna be good, right? So yeah, beautiful design. Again, shores up some of the weaknesses of Warrior, gives them a real good out. Definitely a sideboard, auto include, and then for most matchups, it's going to be a headpiece, right? All right, and then another headpiece, Mask of Deceit. So we have Arakni specialization, so Cheyenne can use it, and any of the Arachnis can use it. And why that's important is because when this defends, become a random agent of chaos. If the attacking hero is marked, instead choose the agent of chaos. So Cheyenne, Arakni, Huntsman, Slip Through the Cracks. Is there any other cards? I don't think there's any other cards, right, that turn you into an agent of chaos. No. So by way of the helmet, Solitary Confinement, Huntsman, and Cheyenne, as well as the new Chaos Marionette, Arakni all have access to an Agent of Chaos. And then, again, conjunction with Marked, or the Marked Dagger, right? The true Assassin Dagger, not the two that I have seen on the channel, right? You have a way to pick a specific Agent of Chaos to go into, right? And utilize in combo. So, yeah, I'll have to look into what exactly you can set up with it. But definitely interesting enough, right? Maybe just a nice cheap dagger as assassin. But yeah, defends for 2 and gives you an Agent of Chaos. So you turn into the Agent of Chaos on your opponent's turn, and then at the end of your turn. Yeah, so still useful, right? If you take the God, I forget what it's called, the one that generates daggers, you can use the instant proc still on your opponent's turn, and then you can use the instant proc again on your turn and get 2 daggers if you really want, right? So yeah, I definitely think in conjunction with marking, this will be fairly decent. And probably for Marionette, right, it's just another easy way to transition back and forth between Arakni, right? You spend a turn as an Agent of Chaos, you revert back, and then you can have another turn straight away as another Agent of Chaos, right? Which I think is definitely better than the normal, right? Swap 1 turn, base ability 1 turn, Agent of Chaos. Okay, and then lastly, we have the Fabled, Schism of Chaos. It's got that one little issue of being a Chaos resource. Really, really nice card though, right? So when this is pitched, each hero shuffles, then puts the top card of their deck face down into their arsenal. Beautiful, right? So obviously, the first thing you do on your turn before your opponent has the opportunity to use their arsenal card, and you golden, right? So if you have your card still in your arsenal, you play it, you pitch this, and you get another card for free. Plus, you shuffle their deck, which could be disruptive. So yeah, it's a really, really nice gem that I think might see play across, well, not across the board, but in more tempo-y heroes, right? Even defensive heroes, right? Because you're going to be using up your arsenal. I think, yeah, no, this effect just all around is really nice. Anything that gets you an extra card is really nice. So shame that it is tied to Chaos, so only Slip Through the Cracks and Marionette / the young version of Marionette can use Schism of Chaos, but who knows what other Chaos heroes lie on the horizon. So still a fairly decent gem. Is an auto include in the decks? I don't know. I still don't think that Arakni Marionette is going to be meta enough, right, for this to then be an auto include or be, in somewhat high demand, right? So it's sticking with the normal design of Fables being a nice effect, but not necessarily a necessary effect. All right, we'll leave it there. So 6 Legendaries and a Fable down. The rest of the set to go. Let me know what you think. What cards are you excited to utilize? I definitely need to look into how Fang and Cindra operate now with the new leg piece, right? Along with some of the other goodies. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. See ya.